Start now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Preeti, librarian at Postgraduate Government College, Sector 42, C. Chandigarh. I welcome you all in today's webinar on research methodology. Let me throw some insights about the college. It is a premium multi-faculty institution of higher education in the city beautiful Chandigarh. It was established in 1982. Spread over a spacious campus of nearly 18 acres in the southern part of Chandigarh, the college has emerged as an all-encompassing institute. The college has been accredited with Group A by the NAC. A team of 119 dedicated and highly qualified faculty members facilitating effective teaching and contributing in shaping the next generation. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our principal, Professor Nisha Agarwal. She is former principal of Government College of Commerce and Business Administration, Chandigarh. She has a competent experience of handling college administration and financial duties as HOD of Commerce, colleges like PGBCG 11 and PGGCG 42. She has an excellent teaching experience of about 35 years and has the ability to train teachers to do their best. She is an expert in preparing effective college curriculum and managing student relations. Professor Agarwal has authored a number of books on subjects like financial markets and institution, financial services, etc. She has published many research papers in refereed journals and presented papers in many national and international conferences. She possesses excellent communication and interpersonal skills. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Postgraduate Government College for Girls, Sector 42, Chandigarh, I welcome you all to this national webinar. I also welcome the speakers of the day, Professor RP Singh and Dr. Alka Singh, teachers from various institutes, and all dear participants. Given the times and constraints where we meet from distance, yet we continue to evolve and thrive. Scholarly endeavors have been given a unique opportunity in our lifetimes to explore and enable themselves to be tech savvy. This webinar is specially curated for students and researchers who have never been exposed to the research methods. Research is diligent and systematic inquiry or investigation into a subject in order to discover facts or principles. Research has become integral part of every walk of life. The vistas of research extend to horizons and beyond. It imbibes the known to figure out the unknown. It is a continuous advancement of knowledge in incremental waves. Research enables decision making. It empowers you to make informed decisions. Methods of research continue to be dynamic yet basic. Research is often a way towards enlightenment and must not be mistaken as shortcuts to success. I'm sure after attending today's webinar, participants will be able to understand the basics of research methodology and will be able to write a research proposal for conducting the research in future. We look forward to an engrossing session and with that wish lot of success to the young minds and hope they take advantage, they take something valuable from this webinar. So without any further delay, let us begin with today's session.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing valuable insight. Indeed, research is a systematic approach at problem solving, but to scholarly, research is conducted to evaluate a hypothesis or to assemble a body of substantiative knowledge. Without much further ado, let me introduce to you our first speaker, guest speaker, Dr. Alka Singh. She's an assistant professor of English at Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia National Law University, Lucknow. She has done her postdoctoral research work as a visiting scholar to Maison des Sciences Home, Paris, France. Please excuse me, ma'am, if I have mispronounced any of it and would love to be corrected. And besides her publications in reputed journals and presentations in national and international journals, uh, she has presentations in national and international conferences. She has published books like Women, Issues and Exclusion and Inclusion in 2018, Women Empowerment 2018, Issues in Canadian Literature. She has been a member of the editorial board of English Matters and Journal of the Central Board of Secondary Education, New Delhi, and member of the Curriculum Development Committee for writing nationalized textbooks for secondary level English. She's a versatile beyond a brief introduction, and I hand over to Alka ma'am now.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pathak. First of all, I extend a very warm greetings from Uttar Pradesh. Love greetings, Chandigarh, and the beautiful college who has, it is actually the need of the time to plan for such a pertinent issue, such a relevant and significant topic for the purposes of the students who are actually facing a lot of paradigm shifts, such as in the discipline actions.
Your, your voice is
Am I
little
audible?
your voice is little
Uh,
breaking.
Breaking.
Yeah.
Maybe, ma'am, that can be because of the network issue.
Now it's fine. Now it's
Uh,
fine.
it's fine. It's fine. I'll try. Since these are the glitches we actually have to face, and in fact, these are some of the challenges that every scholar somehow has to handle so far as online education, online lecturing, and the delivery or the deliberating. The topics, the topic that has to be deliberated. So far as this smooth conduct of the event is concerned, I'm so sorry if that is going to hamper the talk or the expectations from my side, so as to satisfy the requirement and the need of the young minds, the scholars, students, and of course the participants in the event today. I again extend a very warm, greetings, a lot of love, lot of I just wish a lot of academic productivity out of this event. So far as the expectations from the talk and the deliberations are concerned, I extend greetings to Dr. Preeti Sharda, who has been very critical, very pivotal, playing a role in scrutinizing all those important, things that are supposed to be looked into when it comes to organize this kind of the webinar for the purposes of the students, of course, in particularity, and so far as the participants and scholars are concerned in the public at large. I extend cordial greetings to Dr. Nisha Agrawal, Professor Nisha Agrawal, the principal of the college, ma'am. I'm really thankful that you have thought of, this kind of actually needed a topic for the students' purpose, so that they can be, trained so far as the actual academic inclination towards the researches are concerned. Thank you again, one and all, each one of you, all the organizing committee, the college, the students, who are here with me, and I feel that I would be able to associate the sensibility that is required to understand the nuances in research. Dr. Pooja Sharma is writing that my voice is not audible. Shall I connect it via phone if that is not possible? If that is not, okay with the
Is it
so far
possible
as
if you can ma'am,
is it breaking off and on?
it's
Is it
actually
breaking
breaking.
off and on?
It
Okay.
is.
Okay. Shall I connect via phone?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Shall
We
I
can
connect
wait.
via phone? We can do that. We can do that.
Meantime, Dr. Alka is joining. Pooja, say a few words to your students who have joined. Speaker, Pooja, your speaker. Speaker.
Hello, students. I hope my voice is audible now.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that these series of webinars which we are conducting would be of great benefit to all of you, so far as your dissertation paper is concerned. The basic aim at getting into this research proposal is that all of you should learn how to write, how to initiate writings of research, and the synopsis which you all have to submit in your third semester would be of we'll be distributing the topics to you after the series of two webinars, and I hope that ma'am and sir, both of them, would be able to guide you through the process of initiation into research. So I hope all of you are attending this seminar, and it would be of great benefit to you.
Just waiting for our speaker. She has just joined, and I just. It's perfect, ma'am.
Am I audible? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Pooja, can you hear me? Dr. Pooja, can you
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
me?
Yes, it is audible now, ma'am. I can hear you.
Dr. Sharda, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we
Ma'am,
can
can
hear
you hear
you.
me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I think let's start with this question. We are not sure when we are going to counter these technological issues. So let's start with the topic itself. And first of all, I would congratulate the organizing team to think of a topic, that actually speaks volumes and associate the basics of research, the fundamentals of research, because you have named the webinar as research paradigms. So when it comes to paradigms, it actually invites a lot of deliberations, discussions, and a lot of topics that actually pertains to a vast corpus set of ideas that emerge and evoke out of several so as linguistic aspects are concerned, scientific aspects are concerned, literary aspects are concerned, social aspects are concerned, the aspects and perspectives that play a very key role so far as the in fact the science, the interest, the role of the critical
Actually, in Lucknow, I had a word with my friend also yesterday night. The problem is there in internet. Some lines are being broken. I think Dr. Alka is facing this problem only. Let's wait for her. She may join us very soon.
The insight or
We are so sorry for this technological glitch. Let's hope she should join us soon.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's a very urgent call, and I'll just catch up with what I was talking about. I was talking about all those ontological assumptions. I was talking about the epistemological assumptions that play key role in questions when it comes to the interdisciplinary approach and the insight a researcher, scholar, or student who is conducting research has to interpret a text. So when I begin talking about research, I would first ask the students to deliberate upon the first text that they have in their hand. You know, the scholars must try to answer first that what is the worth of a text that is there in their hand, that is there in your hand as a student who is developing perhaps an insight, or who is thinking of an interest regarding a problem or a question, or for that purpose an issue to be conducted, to be talked about as far as the text is concerned. So the text itself is a broader term to think of. The text itself is to be taken on a note to differentiate and understand that how would it go about how it would go about having its approach via or through qualitative research or quantitative research. When it comes to the qualitative research, as is very common, and so far as researchers in humanities are concerned, researchers in social sciences they are concerned, students, I must say that no research can happen in isolation. The research is, it is very difficult to conduct a research, no matter when, even if we are talking about the humanities, even if we are talking about the humanities, or we are talking about, say, the research in literature, or conducting or developing an insight to understand a text of literature review, it cannot be done actually in isolation. You have to keep in the mind the approach of the research regarding the research question should be a phenomenal process. It is a phenomenal in nature, and that should be approached as a text as such. So when we talk about a text, it itself is a bigger endeavor. Itself invites, the epistemological, the assumptions, the inquiry that should proceed to investigate the worth of the topic itself. So it may have both the aspect, qualitative as well as quantitative. When we talk about the qualitative, yes, it is about the richness of the insights of the research acumen, the depth that you have, the several voices and the nuances that are heard out of a text. As Mikhail Bakhtin says, if you remember the dialogic imagination by Mikhail Bakhtin, when he talks about the dialogue that emerges out of the text between the author and the reader, or sometimes between the reader and the text. So it is about the context, it is about the multidimensionality, it is about the multidisciplinary complementarity. It is about the complex process of the level of convenience, that is sometimes across contextual generality. And apart from all these, thought processes, the critical thinking, critical, categorization of the various intellectual exercises that goes into understanding of a text, it is actually a phenomenology. It is actually a phenomenal process of, comprehending a text, comprehending an issue, comprehending a problem that has to be investigated for the purpose of research. So, what exactly is research? Research is a discovery. Research is interpretation. Research is reinterpretation. And where do you do this research? So, in the larger sense of the term, or in bigger sense of the term, whatever you have in the hand as a primary concern is your text. So, when you say text, text itself is a broader entity. So, there might be many reverberations to the several connotations that might be heard out of the text when you try to comprehend it. So what it is required as part of the discovery, as part of interpretation, as part of reinterpretation, is association of the sensibility, is the association of the mind, is the association of various insights that you can develop in order to elaborate upon the problem, in order to make the thesis statement, in order to be able to see that what implications it has for the purposes of you can see upon the kind of any role in this discussion and making proposals out of it. It is very, very important to understand that it comes to when it comes to English literature, when it comes to language studies, when it comes to language sensitivity, it is very important to understand not only the reference to a meaning that exists in a text, but also it is important to understand that what literature can reveal, what it actually can reveal. And when it comes to reveal out of the meaning that is existing in a text, it also means that it can be responsible for a very unique kind of the critical activity, for a very unique kind of the a unique kind of a product out of the literature. So it is talking about the several aspects in broader sense of the term when we talk about the discovery, when we talk about the interpretation, when we talk about the reinterpretation. So what I find very relevant is to talk about establish, is there a text in class? I hope you must have heard, is there a text in the class? So perhaps the essay is very miraculous and in fact opens a lot of insights to understand that how and what research means, what needs to investigate a problem, how actually the work of acting a topic or selecting a topic for the purpose of research, to interpret or to reinterpret meaning out of it. So do we have meaning in text? Or are there several meanings in the text? Or the meaning assigned by you and established by you is the actual meaning of the text? How doing these kinds of, intellectual exercises, these kinds of critical thinking comes to comprehend that research? How doing that? Say, we are then or might be still interest stylist perspective. There might be the practical criticism about handling about handling your to intellectual effort to contribute to something in this world which is already existed. So what we are actually doing, what actually doing when it comes to conduct research out of a text, we are not only we are not only discovering, we are not only interpreting, we are not only reinterpreting, but we are additionally contributing to something what is already existing in the knowledge industry as part of the storehouse of the knowledge, and yet opening scope for the further researches, yet opening implications of the researches out of it towards some kind of the theory building, towards some kind of the constructs that might contribute to certain other, yet to be submitted proposals and submissions. So it is research. If we go by the concise understanding of the research, we can say it is not only the arrangement of the facts, it is not only the arrangement of the, you see, opinions that you have taken in order to support your own vision that you have been able to make out, or that you have been able to establish meaning out of the text. It is more than the arrangement of the facts. It is more than the arrangement of the opinions that you are able to back up your behavioral stand so far. So, but it is also very important to understand some of the technical, terms. For instance, you say the recent literary theories are concerned. You see, when it comes to researches in English language and literature, it actually brings a lot of scrutiny, not only to the varied categories of culture, and not only to the decreasing margins of difference between these realms of expression, but just as importantly to the politics and the ideology that make contemporary culture possible. And attempting researches in these perspectives is to actually look for the different set of the paradigms that has that is actually taking place and is an evolving process, and therefore interpreting a text, reinterpreting text, is actually not finding or establishing meaning out of it, but to put yourself in a long drawn conversation with the text, and actually engaging yourself in the meaning making process. So in fact it becomes these emerging literary theories, critical theories, legal theories, social theories, theories from the linguistics, theories, anthropology, Anthropocene, and so many of these disciplines. Actually, they became very notorious so far as the development of different methodology, different approaches that are often taken into consideration so far as the interpretation of the text is concerned. We find that it was actually somewhere after 90s that they started emphasizing on even on the importance and significance of the several representation of the art forms as well, pop music, different iconic styles and music videos, in place of, or I must say, along with the canonical literature, and extend the idea of actually the Frankfurt School on the transition from a truly popular culture to mass culture. So far as the late capitalist societies are concerned. It also actually signifies the patterns of consumptions of the cultural aspects that can actually open a lot of or several windows to interdisciplinarity, or I must say anti-disciplinary approaches to reach the meaning of the text, or to create meaning out of the text, or sometimes it is that is a kind of the creative fulfillment that one looks for while analyzing a text, and that might be out of that might be out of cultural discourses, that can be out of sociological discourses, that can be out of economical discourses. And I would also say that, yes, needless to speak of the political discourses that condition the making of the text. Uh, so when it comes to the cultural discourses, the researcher is needed to understand actually the reach of the cultural discourse. Now, the culture, when we talk about the cultural discourses, it covers almost everything, right from the primary text in concern, right from the problem in concern, right from the issues or the thematic concerns dealt in the text concern, to its relations to the animated movies, the pop culture, 3D movies, or the Matrix, or the different forms and manifestations of art and culture. And so far as these sociological discourses are concerned, I would say that the researcher must be able to differentiate the two dimensions that have been initially very fundamental to the sociological discourses. For instance, the one that comes from the authoritative side, and the other that comes from the second side, that comes from the scholars, the thinkers, the critical acumen that obeys that authoritative values or the idea. For instance, one has to understand the type of the ideology that comes from the authority that is stated in the text, that comes from the established meaning of the text, that comes from the power discourses that regulate the framework of the text. And then there is a willingness of the reader to understand the authority. There is a so-called constant, so-called coexisting mindset that goes into the meaning, that helps one understand that we have the meaning approach to define it, or define problem, or to propose a solution or submission. When it comes to economic discourses, we cannot avoid the basic fundamental market that has that has talked about the economic exploitation. So one looks at the approaches that emerges from these two different classes. I think this discourses that conditions and that the text constitutional values and ideas. So you have to see that what kind of argument you have been into, what kind of syllogism you have in order to approach to a particular methodology, in order to make meaning out of it, in order to establish, or in order to make proposals and submission out of it. So basically, when we talk about when we talk about the basics of the research, we talk about your interest for the choices of the title. We talk about the decision of narrowing down the bigger endeavor of the title into somewhere cornered, space where it becomes convenient for a scholar or for a student to understand how convenient you can back up the evidences to support your opinion while constructing meaning of the text. So it is important to understand that what in fact is argument, what is actually argument, or what is that you are actually debating upon. Can you debate, say, sunrises in the east? Can we do some kind of research on this particular expression, sunrises in the east? No, we can't do that. We argument must have the scope of debate. Researcher needs to find not researcher needs to find what is debatable, what is not debatable, what is there when you have several syllogistic folds to unopen or to to which are unopened and which needs several other methodologies or research achievement or the theories or the principles working behind the condition of the text in order to make proposals, in order to make submissions, in order to make additional contributions to to the knowledge or to the text which is already in the storehouse, which is on which you are attempting a research. So this perhaps widens the scope of the meaning. This perhaps takes us to all those texts and discourses that talk about meaning. I'm sure the students of literature, language, and in fact the students that find the scope and the limit of meaning when it comes to defining the limitations and of research. Research say, how do we go of finding of meaning or when we are asking for something, when we are taking an argument, what kind of reasons we are submitting, what kind of the stated organized reason or reasonable under the substructure of ideas that can be convenient or that can conveniently convince the readers, the evaluators, the examiners, the facilitators to understand your behavioral stance or your views on the say pros or your position on the particular problem or the issue or the text that you have chosen for the purpose of the research. So the structure also has a very important role so far as the meaning making process of the text is concerned, so far as your involvement and the engagement in the meaning making process of the text is concerned, or in the priority choices of the research methodologies are concerned. Basically, when it comes to the qualitative researches or the quantitative researches, you go by the cover terms so far as the technical terms like data collection is concerned, or say the data coverage is concerned, data and or say the data analysis or the processing is concerned. So but when it comes to the researchers in humanities, the terms get a bigger endeavor. The terms that needs to be spaced in bigger set of intellectual exercises, and also invites a core discussion on the various methodologies and the researches that can be given more sort of interdisciplinarity or interdisciplinary approaches that can be handled together while understanding or establishing meaning of the text. So you can, in fact, or a researcher can simply talk about the language sensitivity in the different discourses. We often hear so many debates and the discussion our media discourses or surrounding media discourses are concerned. say for instance, there can be entirely two different position on the language aspects when it comes to when it comes to understand mulk or say desh, or when it comes to the concept of nation. So I remember then definitely the invoke towards these brilliant literary theories that have talked about that there exists nothing out of the text, as Derrida says that there exists nothing out of the text. So weightage of language sensitivity, that also conditions the text. So if that is the case, then obviously there exist several approaches so far as the stylistic discourses are concerned, so far as the hermeneutic process of understanding a text is concerned, so far as the Derrida's understanding of the term play is concerned towards establishment of differ or difference, as he says, is concerned. Or when it comes to the discourse analysis as one of the priority choices by the students and the researchers in order to understand the text, they have talked about several several approaches that come from these theories that in fact exasperate the entire world of not only literature or language studies, but it has also been very potent in covering the other concept of ideas and the inclusive policies, ideologies, and the historical context that have a lot of that plays actually very significantly in order to establish and understand a text. So there should be actually a reasonable, or I must say, in fact, the reason also can be questioned. What kind of reasoning are you submitting behind the establishment of the meaning, or behind making meaning out of the text? That is also very important. You have to check out the legality of the reasonableness that you submit to be connected or logically connected to the substructures of the ideas you have involved yourself in the meaning-making process of a text. So that should be a reasonable answer, in fact, to even decide your approach of conducting a research, even decide your approach to handle a topic, to decide a topic, to put a subtitle for it, to see the thesis statement behind it, to look for the hypothesis, maybe 1, 2, 3, depending upon the number of the questionnaire that you have selected, can also be questioned. So that even those can itself be questioned when it comes to the researches in humanity, when it comes to researches in language and literature at large. So that has to be seen. You have to see that how is the reason? Is it fallacious? Analyze the claim that has to take the cognizance of the type of the reasoning. As I said, when it comes to the coverage, that the sampling that we do, say in sociology, often of 50 units of the sampling in the sociological mode can be a prose, can be a position that one might choose to establish the claim. But the researchers should take into account the cons as well. And when it comes to the cons, one must not forget about the invitations towards the number of objections that that the prospect that in fact open better prospects of researches that help you to devoid of fallacious reasoning, that help you to categorize objections, that help you to build upon legal arguments in order to in order to be more appropriate, in order to be more concerning, in order to be more understanding towards the hermeneutics, towards the several approaches of understanding a text and the reason behind the choice priority of a particular research methodology, particular tool or the device that help you to go deep inside the conducting of the research process. You must not forget to understand that that it has to be independent in nature. It has to build upon a strong content knowledge. It has to respond to the varying demands of the audience who are who may be required to find the task, the purpose, and the and its relevance to the discipline concerned. So you may use, say, the you may use the several approaches, say as it comes to the language discourses. I remember the end of history, Francis Fukuyama's The End of History, when he defines and says that it is important to see that how there has been the paradigm shifts in the language discourses that have been very creative, and that has been responsible for that has been responsible for the creative fulfillment of the literary giants. So sometimes it is important to see that why capital H is different from small h, or say capital H demarcates the meta narrative of the history or the historical features and the context that goes in the constructs and the conditioning of the text. When it comes to the small h, it is the histories that are untold. It is the history, or I must say histories with a small h, that has been at margin and needed, that has been at periphery, that needs a contextual understanding when it comes to understand the various voices that are heard in a text, and that can be analyzed for the purposes of better understanding of the text. Similarly, you can always refer to the concepts like Frederick Jameson's the cultural logic of late capitalism when it comes to understand the fragmentation theories of the postmodernism. When it comes to the when it comes to the concept like center cannot hold the meaning, or things fall apart, or so it is there are similarly the media generated spectacles. Then it becomes very important to understand the Baudrillard concepts of simulacra, and it is important then to understand the distinction between the real and the imagined. For instance, look at the situation current right now, a teaching learning situation right now. I am, of course, delivering a lecture for the for the students at large. Specifically, the organizers have planned this lecture to understand the nuances of research, basics of research, and research paradigms. So far as this lecture is concerned, just analyze this situation. We know that we have so many options in the online mode. You can put off your videos, you can put off your audios, and I would just imagine that you are giving a nod to whatever submissions I am making, to whatever deliberations I am making. I may imagine that you are listening to me, or there may be hearing at least, but the case may not be so also in a few cases, or I may not be able to to develop the kind of the association the audience might, or the researchers or the students might be looking for. So it is a kind of it is here that you try to understand the distinction between real and imagined when it comes to the Baudrillard concept of simulacra. Similarly, you see the various tools and the devices that can help you to adopt several several research methods of approaching a text and understanding line of the arguments, the line of the convincing nature of the argument, to find the more sort of reasonableness, to develop a dialogue between, between the reader and the text, between the reader and the author, so that more better outcome of the understanding of meaning, or understanding of the several meanings can be made out. For instance, there can be a discontinuity or a collage, or maybe the flair for the predominantly apocalyptic in the opening arguments of a particular text, or that can be the strategy to create the frightening sides of the human nature and the society. And then it becomes very pertinent for you to understand the role of the irony, the role of the paradox, the role of multiple narratives, the role of black humor, the role of I can say, the role of the debate that lies between the periphery and the center. So this all, this all helps you somewhere to inspire and elevate your heart and mind to rework, rewrite, reinterpret, rediscover the canons, established canons, alongside its several forms of the or the manifestations of the representations that are politicized, maybe for the several purposes associated with it. And then you can think of, employment of the various theories like deconstruction, Marxism, feminism, of course, that itself has been so much so revolutionary in so many phases, that have, widened the vision and the horizons, where you can every time question even your approach itself, or the priority approaches or priority research method itself towards the meaning making process of a text. I remember, you see, Allen Ginsberg poem Howl, or perhaps Samuel Beckett's play Waiting for Godot. That itself is reflective of the kind of all time relevance towards the contemporaneity of the situations that prevailed in the human society. So similarly, new historicism is there, and yes, reader response theory has been very revolutionary so far as the first reading, second reading, subsequent readings, they are concerned, as has been put up by Wolfgang Iser, so-called the literary giant, the critical giant, who is considered to be the major proponent of the Constance School of Reception Aesthetics. Then, of course, the terms like magic realism has to be understand when it comes to the fantasizing, the powerful, uncanny appeal that is there in the text. That, and when I say text in the bigger ambit, text in the bigger terms of understanding, shall reveal anything that is in the hand, any problem that is in the hand, any issue that is in the hand, where the research is to be conducted, where the outcome or the establishment of the meaning out of it is to be the purpose of the further implications of adding additional knowledge to whatever is there in the existing stores. So I would actually suggest to the students of humanities, the students who understand the importance of the legal theories, in the process of reading critical theories, literary theories, the theories, principles of the sociologies that comes from the debate of the authority versus obedient one, or the authority versus Protestant ones, to apply and find out the best choices, the best priority methods, in order to implot and then employ, and then be adaptive of it dexterously to understand meaning out of it, or may additionally contribute to the existing as the head, as the primary concern, or as the primary source for the purpose of handling or comprehending the problem or maybe the issues or the several issues that you have chosen to chosen in order to study and to demarcate a title a title out of it as part of your research proposal or as part of your research thesis. So so you can go. I think it is time now, and I must wind up. And because of the certain initial glitches, I just left a few basic points regarding the research, which I'm sure Professor Singh, Professor Alka Singh from Lucknow University would be talking about, which perhaps would actually help to take the writing work so far as the proposal making of the researches or research in the discipline of humanities are concerned. But certainly before ending, I would suggest that these scholars, the participants in the event today, in the webinar today, to go and understand the concepts concepts like intentional policy by Vincent and Beardsley. We can also talk about Roland Barthes, that was the author when he said that the author is no more relevant and his personality goods becomes all the more parallel kind of the several approaches when it comes to the meaning-making process of the text. And yes, when it comes to the language discourses, one cannot forget the basics of the soaring word like assessments, theory of signs, signifier, and significance when it comes to the meaning-making process. You can go by adopting several other approaches that comes from the say the Johnstown. There is nothing of the text. Then there is Sigmund Freud's concepts of memory and the work that he did on the interpretation of the interpretation of dreams, when he says that because we have no alternatives to rely on the facts that you come across in the dreams, one might say that it is a sort of a kind of an appeal which cannot be verified or authenticated. That there are writers like Dr. Rob, there are writers like when it comes to the postmodernism or post-colonial theories of postmodernism, the giants like critical thinkers like Linda Hutchinson, Robert Koch, who very, have been very minute in observing the various chemical activities that automatically goes into the meaning-making process to emerge out of the kind of yet another text that predominates and continues in the society whereas researches in humanities and literature they are concerned. So I think I should wind it here only and would just expect that I somehow would touch upon the dimensions and the insights that you can actually invited or maybe given a read, sound read in order to understand and decide the approaches as research methodologies so far as researches in the humanities is concerned, and not only to the student but to the general public. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I guess one tends to anxiously scroll to avoid any kind of technical glitch, but I hope the students have got a clear idea of how to attempt a research methodology and how it is an evolving process, engaging process, and true to the lines, expected lines. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a very interesting insight. It is in the nature of research proposal that when you begin, you don't know what you will find. What should your proposal include? How should you refine and focus your ideas? And to answer many more questions similar to that, let me introduce to you to someone who is an award-winning playwright and a poet, a recipient of 16 awards, honors in main Swami Vivekanand Youth Lifetime Achievement Award, Shikshak Shri Samman by Government of UP in 2015, Editor's Choice Award, etc. He's a professor, Professor R.P. Singh is a professor of English at the Department of English and Modern European Languages University of Lucknow. Besides, he has more than 110 research papers. Now that you've just read about it, please note 110 research papers and 12 academic books to his credits. His plays, Flea Market and Other Plays, Shakespeare Ki Saath Raate. I'm sorry, sir, I want to really hear about this Shakespeare Ki Saath Raate. Maybe we could have one more webinar to it. Um,
Sure, ma'am. My pleasure always. Yeah.
the Muse, the Cloud, the Moon, A Little Girl, etc., have received critical acclaim and a wide popularity. We welcome you, sir, and we are eager to hear your views. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for introduction, and it's my pleasure joining this event organized by this prestigious college known across the nation. Um, so I will directly come to the point as we are already running a little late due to some network issue, and I think I'm reaching the audience.
Yes, sir, perfectly fine.
My
Perfectly
my
fine.
voice my voice is audible, ma'am.
Yes, sir. We are good to go, sir.
I hope there is no problem in connection. Connectivity is okay.
Perfect, sir.
Are you listening,
Perfect.
ma'am? Okay, it's okay.
Yes, sir,
Good.
we are ready to go.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, the topic that I will be discussing today is very practical, and I would also be talking from that point of view because we have been working in different committees to judge the research proposals when it is being submitted by the students, and also by the researchers when they apply for different projects to different funding agencies also. So the moment we write a research proposal, the word proposal comes, and if we go by the uh, general meaning of proposal, it is simply to propose your personality. It is simply to propose your ideology, your thought, what you want to do. And this is the representation of one's personality in the absence of that specific person. So the research proposal is, you can say, if you could make a good research proposal, the 50% of the battle is won. Uh, because you will be having a straightforward thought, idea of line of action, what you are going to do, and how you are going to work in the line of completing your project, in the line of completing your research. So initially, we can say that writing a proposal is a big challenge. Why a big challenge? Because when we talk about research, it may be a doctoral research, it may be a dissertation leading to any master's degree, it may be MPhil research, or it may be any research project. So the proposal of what is being submitted to any funding agency, you are seeking some help from any other funding agency abroad or in your home nation. So everywhere the problem lies in communicating your ideas, because in many cases your proposal is read by a group of people. You are sometimes you are called for presentation, sometimes you are not called for a presentation. So how to write a proposal, that is the biggest thing. And as you know, that the biggest problem is that of communication. How do you communicate your ideology, how do you communicate your plan of action? This is what we need to know in a research. As you know, when we talk about academic writing and creative writing, in creative writing you have your own sky, you have your own world. You can take any event, you can look at any event from any perspective. From you are the sovereign in that field. But in the moment we are researching, it is a perfect blend of your own innovative thoughts and a disciplined way of arranging the thoughts, etc. So this is a perfect blend of art and science, you can say. Primarily, when I talk to my students, my friends regarding the making of a research proposal, so one should keep 3 points in mind when you are taking up a proposal of you are taking up something, thinking about writing a research proposal, etc. So three steps should be clear in your mind. Number one is planning part, then writing part, and then editing part. Planning, writing, and editing. I will say, I repeat, planning, writing, and editing. The moment you plan a research proposal, the moment you put forward your vision, your your understanding, your thought to the party of the receiver. Who is the receiver? Receiver may be agency, receiver may be any academic institution, receiver may be any person. So you have to be very clear at the level of planning, because a well-planned research proposal covers almost everything that you need to write. In planning part, we should be very clear that whom are we writing? We are writing to some university, we are writing to some funding agency, we are writing to whom we are writing, and you should also know what we are writing. This is a rather confusing question. What we are writing? You can easily say that you will have say that what we are writing. We are writing a research idea, but is are you going to give a fresh interpretation of fact? Are you going to discover facts? Are you going to analyze the already discovered fact from the help of theories? What you are doing? It is keeping the opinions, it is keeping the trajectories of a sample in the background. So, what you are writing, and this is the second question that should strike your mind, and that should be the context of your you can say document research proposal when we do that. And then the third is, why are you writing? Why are you writing this research proposal? You are writing this research proposal for getting money. You are writing this proposal for getting admission to some degree course, or you are writing this research proposal to any other as a partial fulfillment of your master's degree, your bachelor's degree, anything like that. So, because there are minor issues, the minor changes that may be there in these cases. Um, then, when it comes to writing, I will be discussing that in threadbare part. I will be discussing that minutely. But I will say that in writing part, there must be a perfect blend of accuracy and style. Accuracy and style. As I just shared, I just spoke that a research proposal is a perfect blend of science and art. So how it should be written? The moment you write a research proposal, and I told you that you have to make structure. So what that structure is there? I to my students in the PhD coursework, I share a formula that is C 3 plus Y. 3 times C, clarity should be there, coherence should be there, conciseness should be there, and Y. Y is not your point of view. Why quote and why in under in commas? You are important. Who is that you? You is the person whom you are writing. Informally, if you say that every university across the world has its own culture, um, this is very practical experience that I'm sharing with you, that there are many universities in our country who are accepting the researches in English from the from the point of view of cultural studies. There are many universities, there are many professors who say that no, this is not coming into the rubric of pure literature, pure literary output. So even you can look at the syllabus. if you look at the syllabi of different universities, and you will find a big yeah, heterogeneous approach towards looking at literature. How do you see literature? So try to find out, suppose you are writing a proposal, whom you are writing the proposal, that person, that agency, that institution is equally important. Otherwise, your proposal may not get through. Okay, so CQ plus Y, clarity should be there, coherence should be there, conciseness should be there, and you, the person whom you are writing, that is important, and you have to devise your ideology according to that. Because in that case, you are going to institutionalize your work. You are going to put forward your work to a group of people and to a group of evaluators who are going to judge that work. So this is what, excuse me, sorry, I'm with cough and cold, so the third step that we could keep in our mind, we should have in our mind before writing a proposal, before submitting the research proposal, is editing. Editing. You may ask a question: what to edit? We are simply writing the proposal, so why to edit and what to edit here? Okay, you do edit the proposal from the perspective of style manual. All of us, we know that different disciplines of human sciences, different disciplines of knowledge system, they have their own style pattern of documentation. How do you document? So in English studies, mostly we follow MLA guideline for the writers of research paper, for the writers of dissertation. So we have to follow the pattern. What should be the font of your main heading, the subheading? What should be the difference between two lines? So these things are to be taken care of. You can easily find the abridged version of MLA guideline for writing a research paper, writing a proposal, etc., on and freely available internet sites. We all know that we have to write in Times New Roman 12 font, 1.5 space should be the left hand indentation is the these the major concerns that we have while writing a research proposal. So I was talking about editing. You have to edit your text. You have to edit your text from two perspectives. One perspective is that of the structure. Are you following the perfect structure? You may ask me, what is the structure? I'm just going to tell you what is the structure, what should be the structure of your proposal. Then the second thing is that accuracy. Structure should be edited, accuracy should be edited, and also the style. Structure, accuracy, and style. So we can have the grammar check of our work. We should have plagiarism check of our work. All of you are aware that plagiarism is a crime nowadays. You can't quote something from without citing the matter, without citing the source of that. And also, one thing that I will be sharing with you, that is the policy check. That is the policy check. But that is the policy check. You should have also a check on the policy, whom you are writing, and what is the policy of that. What is the policy of that institution that you are going to accept? You are going to that is going to accept your work. So this is what we have at the preliminary level of our work, at the beginning of our work. And then you may ask me a question that what are the steps that we follow in writing? Again, what we say, writing part. So in writing, what are the steps? What are the headings of a research proposal? The first thing that you should have in mind when you are writing a research proposal is the title. The title, and the title should be creating a title is also an art. Many of us, what I find, many of us, we give when we evaluate the research proposals of the students in different RDCs, research degree course meetings, and in different BOS meetings. So sometimes we find very high sounding words. Very high sounding words are there. They can have the cliches, they can have the technical terminology taken from different sources, different theoretical framework. But when you look at that text, when you look at the categorical reasoning associated with that title, so there is no proper sync between what you claim and what you present. So the moment you are creating a title, that the title should be well managed, because that shows that the title shows your personality. How do you brand the how are you going to brand your research? How are you going to manage your research? How accurate and how balanced are you there in making your statement go to the audience? This is what we should have in the title. And your title should be the clear indication. It should give the clear indication of your proposed research approach and the key question. It should always pose a key question. It should give a key question for your research to the audience. Uh, we can say the next step is that in the research, background and rationale. There should be the background. What is your background? What is the background of that topic? Because what is the context of that proposition that you are making? So that background, and in the background you are creating a research. Your title itself is a research question. In the background you are going to justify your research question. You are going to put forward the rationale of that work. You are going to put forward the rationale of that research question. And here, number one, background will give. Then you will identify your discipline. You will share the tradition of that discipline in which you are working, what earlier work have been done in that field, and what is the innovation, what is the individual talent that you are going to apply in that field. So your discipline, you identify the discipline, you identify different streams in that discipline, you identify different issues, and then that is a very significant work. And many of our students, they are not doing that, and sometimes they are doing. So they are taking this very easily. They are doing it is very easily. They simply check. Suppose you are working on any text from the perspective of gender discourse, from the perspective of eco-critical discourse. So you put that keyword on Google, and in the first page that came, you found that this is the only literature review. So literature review, the third point that I am sharing, the third point that I'm mentioning before you is the literature review. And what should be the literature review? Um, Literature review. Am I audible, ma'am?
Perfectly fine, sir. Perfectly fine.
Okay, okay. Oh, thank you. Literature review. When we talk about literature review, uh, I was telling that literature review is a point, it is a step that many of us take very lightly, and whatsoever is coming to Google when we check on internet, and what comes prima facie, that we put, and this is the research. This is not the exact thing that we should do. We should refer different bibliographies. The annotated bibliography is available over there. Different research index is there. So, in your library, with the help of the people involved in library sciences, you can find some reference material uh, with the help of some experts, professors, and scholars, your own supervisor, if you're writing for some funding agency. So, with the help of your peer, you can find the work, the content of work that has been already there. That different database are available, and you can find your work, the context of your work there. So in literature review, because my focus is more on literature review part of your research work, because once I share my own experience with you, my own experience with you. I conducted a major research project funded by University Grant Commission, and this was a bibliographic study, and I was searching the thesis done in the field of post-colonial studies in the universities of North India. I could trace scores of thesis on the same topic. One person is writing in this university, the other university, and the other person is writing the same on the same topic. Some overlapping, many small changes there. Otherwise, the topic the same. So this is a big issue, and this should be taken care of. So I can again say 5 C's. You take care of 5 C's in the literature review. The moment you are going to review your literature, number one is cite. Number one is cite. You can, those who are listening to me on YouTube, they may write this thing. They may write this thing. Cite, CIT, cite, and cite is to keep the primary focus on the literature pertinent to your research problem. Keeping the primary focus on the literature pertinent to your research problem. This is you just cite. Then compare. Yeah, we have to the problem in connectivity. So cite, then compare. The second C in literature review part is compare. What we are going to compare? We are going to compare various arguments, methodologies, and findings that have already been used in the previous research in your field. What do the authors agree on? You have to show, you have to share what the early researches in that field, what are the points on what they are agreeing on, and who applies similar approach to analyzing the research problem that you are proposing. So this is the comparison. You just make a comparison and contrast, compare and contrast. Cite, then compare and contrast. Uh, what do you do in contrasting? In contrasting, what do you contrast various arguments? You contrast various arguments, themes, methodologies, approaches, etc., and controversies, etc., that are prevailing in that trajectories or in that trajectory in that domain of um, uh, discipline in which you are working. So then the critique of literature. You will see, the first of all, you will cite that these number of researchers have been in my field. You will compare that this coheres to us. You will contrast that this is this is not cohering my ideology. Then you will critique the literature, the work that has been done, which argument is more persuasive and why. You have to show which argument is persuasive and why this is persuasive, which approach is there, which finding is there, which methodology seem most reliable. You can mention that in your work, um, and you can say the valid appropriation of the context and why it is that okay. You also pay attention to the verbs that are used to this is the significant part, significant stylistic part. The verbs, the action words that are used to justify your research work. Are you asserting? Are you simply demonstrating? What does author says? What does author say? What does author do in that field? You have to see. Then the ultimate C, that the fifth C, I have just shared 5 C's for doing a literature review. That is connect. Connection is very important. It should not be that you are putting the things in a warehouse. It should reflect your sense of association, the literature to your area, what is available over there, and how does that literature, excuse me, I will take a minute break. Um, uh, Sorry for the interruption. I was talking about the 5 C's in literature review, and I was discussing the connect part. So the references that you have mentioned, the tradition of research that you have mentioned, how do you connect your work with that? Do remember here the concept of tradition and individual talent. Anything that we do, anything that we write, that is that finds its clue in the tradition, grand tradition is there. Then with your individual talent, you make a deviation out of that, and this is the authenticity. This is the skill. This is the power of managing a research question with your aptitude. This is what we should take care of while we do. So again, I can repeat this: the 5 C's of this literature reviews: cite, compare, contrast, critique of literature, and connect. You cite from different sources, compare the sources, contrast the sources, and make a criticism of that, create a proper correlation of the critique, and then you connect with your program. You connect with your program. This is important to understand. So we were discussing about the background and rationale. Of the first heading, I was telling you that the first heading will be the title, and then the background, the rationale. You can also say elucidation of the research problem, how you are putting forward your research problem. Okay, so you can also mention in this a summary of the key debates and developments in the field. Okay, after literature review, also you can refer some theoretical background. You can also interface the theoretical background, from what angle, from what associations you are going to do. Then the third point that comes in this field, you may ask a question that many of the students, they ask the question: should we write the headings? Is it important to write all these headings? It is both way. You can write the headings of these, or you can simply change the para. The simply structure, the change the para, you can change the para. So the research question, you have to mention the research question. Uh, what is the research question? It is cohering with your title. It is similar to your title. Your research question should be, your research question, it should be formulated very clearly. It should be very clear. It should give an explanation of what problems and issues are you going to explore. And also you have to mention why are they worth exploring. What you are going to explore, and why are they worth exploring. This thing is equally important to understand. Then the research methodology, you have to carry forward the research methodology. And the research methodology, it is the theoretical resources to be drawn at. You have to see the research approach. Okay, we have to provide an outline of the theoretical approaches, from what perspective we are going to conduct our research, and the research approach, what research approach you are going to keep in your line of action when you are doing your work. And then the research methods research methods that are, you see, approach and methods, theory, approach and method issue from this perspective. So a discussion of advantage as well as the limits of particular approach. This is also a point to be taken care of. The moment you will see that you are going to write in this field from this perspective, so why you are going to write from this perspective, what is the advantage of doing that perspective, and also do mention what are the limitations, what are the limitations in oh, okay, I think problem is solved now. This is okay.
Yes, sir, it's okay. It's now. Perfect. See, your mic is off. So please put on your mics. Now it's fine, sir. Please put on your mic.
Yeah, I'm just trying. I'm trying. What is that? Okay, thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience caused this. We were talking about the limitations of our research work. We were talking about the plan and
Your mic is again off. The mic.
um, arrangement of the research work. This is the plan of work that we do. It should reflect different steps in your writing. I am sure that all of you know how to write a business report, how to write a front matter. We have the discussion part, the front matter, the main text, and the body and the appendix or the back matter, the work. So we have to write in this framework. We have to write in this step different chapter. What are we going to? And also, it is a good practice to mention. Suppose you are going to complete your PhD in 3 years. You are going to complete your PhD in 3 years. So, what time, a specific segment of uh, that chapter, this should be mentioned. This should be given in your research proposal. It is a good practice to write that in your research proposal, and then at the end you should give a list of references, that is a list of works consulted while creating this. So it is better practice to write works cited and consulted. Cited in your work, in your synopsis, in your research proposal, and what works have you consulted, means you have not properly write in the structure part. There are very common, frequently asked question that um, what is the research proposal? What is the research proposal and why this is important? Very common question, when why we need a research proposal? Why we are not going to write? We simply talk to our supervisor and tell the topic and we start working on that. So you see, the research proposal, you can say that it is used to establish whether there is expertise to support your research work. There is because by your research proposal, the agency whom you are writing, the institution that you are writing, so that knows it is used to establish whether there is expertise to support your research proposal in the area of research that you are proposing. And the second point, that is the use of this, it forms part of the assessment of your application. On the basis of your research proposal, your candidature is judged. How much this is what? The third is that the research proposal you submit as part of your application, it's just the starting point of your research. It is simply the starting point of your research. To carry forward your, on that, so this is a guiding map in your hand. The moment you create a research proposal, so this guides you that you have to go in this direction. One more question that is very frequently asked by the group of receivers in this program, research program, that what should be limit? What should be the length of the proposal?
Sir, your audio is again out. Audio.
Okay. Okay. So 2,000 words to 3,500 words. This must be your this must be the length of your research proposal. Normally 5 to 7 pages. You can say if you write maximum 9 pages. What I find suitable with my case. Okay. So now some I will give you, because I can talk 5 6 more minutes, I think. So I can give you the basic requirements. What are the basic requirements of writing a research proposal? Quickly, I'll share with you. You have to mention, you have to show by your proposal. The moment you are writing your proposal, you have to show, you have to justify how your research proposal fits in what already known on the topic. Close it over. What is already known in this topic? How your research proposal fits in what is already known in this area. What is the new point that your research proposal should express is what is the new paradigm to be added? Because are you focusing, you are working with your opinion, you are discovering the fact, or you are interpretive? What is the new paradigm to be added? The first thing, how your research fits in the tradition, and the second thing, what is the new paradigm that you are going to add? And the third point that you have to take care of while writing a research proposal, it must be capable to convince the evaluation committee, because the moment it is evaluated by a committee. In many cases, suppose you are presenting a proposal to a university, so RDC is there, a board of examiners are there, they judge your work, and the points, I'm telling you very practical points here, it should show your capability to do the work, capability, achievability, the objective that you have mentioned in your synopsis or research proposal, can they be achieved? Can they be achieved? Because many times we flaunt that we are going to do this, we are point that is very important, practicability. Is it practical? It is practical, your approach practical or not? This thing. And then research design, repeatability of your research design. The research design that you are going to mention, the research design that you have proposed, is that going to make something in the field of knowledge, in the field of knowledge concern, is that going to create a linkage in the further academia, etc. This is what I say with what we say, that reproducibility or that repeatability of the research work. One thing more that is very important to understand: who judges your work? What type of audience is that there who judges your work? So three types of audience are there. What I find in the research in the field of humanities, social sciences, in the field of literature that we are practicing. So three type of people are there in the research committee, evaluation committee, and they have different expectations. They have different expectation. In the research evaluation committee, there are academic colleagues, there are policymakers, and also there are sometimes lay audience. Let me be bold enough to say the lay audience, people sometimes they're not very much aware of your work. So I will put them as lay audience. Suppose you are going to do any specialized work and the person is not from your discipline, so the person is going to look at only the importance of that research work from the logical perspective. So academic colleagues are there, policymakers are there, and the common audience are there. So this is what I find, and that such type of people, they can judge your research proposal. I would like to share with you what are the tips for the better research proposal. How can you make your research proposal better research proposal? So you be practical, you be persuasive, and you make broader linkage. You can make interdisciplinary approach, transdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, cross-disciplinarity. Please do read from easily available resources, because the time and new education policy that is also adding to multidisciplinary approaches in research. So how we can associate our research with different other available disciplines, because now in the postmodern context, in the phase of deconstruction, the bonds of disciplines, they are broken, and now we are not having that sense of purity that we used to have some 30, 40 years back in the field of English studies. English studies are very much they are showing the trend of entering into the field of cultural studies. So that point is also equally important to be taken care of. So be practical, be persuasive, make broader links, interdisciplinary, etc. Since we are running short of time, otherwise I could have talked about interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, cross-disciplinarity, different other issues are there. You can easily find the references on the net, and your point should be crystal clear. You should make an honest approach to different different issues that you are claiming, and you have to be balanced. you have to keep realistic understanding. You have to keep realistic understanding of your subject, and there should be the blend of research acumen and the management of time and energy. Okay, so you should be a researcher in a good manager also, because you have to move forward in your academic exploration with quite synchronization with the time, the limits. It should also be mentioned in your research proposal that your research acumen is cohering with the time, with the resources, and with the other logistics available in the context. So thank you so much. I think now the time is almost over. If any questions are there, most welcome. Otherwise, madam, over to you.
Okay. Good afternoon once again. Students, would you like to address a few questions if you have anything in mind?
Actually, they have posted some question. I'll just send the questions to sir and we can reply
I
and we
have
can.
shared planning, writing, and editing. I shared these 3 points that I mentioned.
Sir, I think we can share the question afterwards as we are running short of time. Pooja, you can take it too.
Okay, okay. Honorable speakers for the day, Professor R.P. Singh and Dr. Alka Singh, Principal Ma'am, Dr. Nisha Agarwal, our esteemed guests, and dear student. I consider it a great privilege to present a vote of thanks on this literary amalgamation of ideas towards research, if I may call it so. I consider it a baby step towards facilitation of research in our college. First and foremost, I would like to thank Principal Ma'am, Dr. Nisha Agarwal, for not only granting us permission to organize this series of webinars, but also being the positive energy and push behind conducting such events and seminars from time to time. I also extend a special thanks to Dr. Alka Singh for presenting valuable insights into research methodology and how students can embark on this tedious task efficiently. This initiation of students towards the new journey of research is welcome, ma'am. And not to forget thanking Professor R.P. Singh, sir, for his intellectual inputs on the different paradigms of writing a research proposal. A research proposal, I feel, is the most imperative stride towards getting the best evaluation in any dissertation. I really agree with you, sir, that you've put it this way is that it is a representation of one's own personality and a perfect blend of your own innovative thoughts and how you present them. Very rightly put, sir. I feel after these informative lectures, our students, especially the postgraduate students, would benefit immensely in their present pursuits towards writing of dissertations as one of their papers in semester 3. As you all know, such events, or rather, I would like to call it a literary research fest, require meticulous planning along with an efficient execution team behind the program. I would like to take this opportunity to mention the proactive role of Dr. Preeti Sharda, head librarian, in coordinating the program with our English department. I would also like to thank and extend a very warm welcome, very warm thanks towards Shakti Pathak, my colleague, who supported us through and through in making this webinar a success. Our success story speaks of more than 200 participants who registered for today's session and many more who attended it through YouTube. You are all welcome to join us again tomorrow, same time, for our second webinar on plagiarism. Students are requested to fill up the feedback forms and generate their certificates by doing so. Thank you, everyone, for being patient listeners and hopefully now informed participants in this literary research fest. I once again extend my gratitude to all of you on behalf of PGDCG 42. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. We are signing off now.